Yo, what is good? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're on Bootcamp day number 7. This is going to be a nice short and sweet type of video just covering news. What is news, how to use news, how to find news, and literally everything that you have to know about it. So overall, news in general, it's not something I care about too much, but there are some things when you have a news day that you kind of want to keep in mind. So for example, here we have January 7th. This is 10 a.m. red folder news. Now, there are 3 types of news pretty much. Yellow folder, orange folder. Let's see if we can find an orange folder. Yeah, orange folder right here. It just means that it's a bit weaker than the red news pretty much. So if we actually take a look at this day, January 7th, we have 10 a.m. news, we have jolts. I don't really care about any of this. What I actually care about is if it's a red folder or orange folder for the USD currency. So on Forex Factory, this is the website you can use to pretty much look at news for futures, for Forex, for anything. So you can go right here, filters, and you can actually get rid of all of these so that it only says USD right here. Just keep it nice and simple. But yeah, overall, if we go to the 7th on the actual chart, we see we have 10 a.m. news, right? So what do I actually care about this? The high and low of this candle, right? So this is the 10 a.m. 1 minute candle, just opened up. What I call this is a data high and a data low. So let's mark that up. And the reason why I care about this high and low of this news candle is because after news, there's a lot of volatility. You can see how much more volume was in the market pretty much before or right when this news came out, right? And it left a data high, data low. All that means is that it's a news high or a news low. So how can we actually use this to our advantage, especially when it's orange folder or red folder USD news? When we take out one side of the liquidity, we could have a nice reaction and run towards the opposite side. Also, if you get a setup here, for example, say you're bearish on the day, we take out data high, that data low is a really good target, and vice versa. If we take out data low, say you were bullish on the day, for example, could target that data high. This data high wick is a really good target, as well as just to draw on liquidity in general on the lower time frame, because above this high, there's a lot of orders resting here, pretty much resting liquidity, right? So if we actually take a look at this day right here, price opens up, takes out data low. Where does it start to trade? Towards data high. So this is a simple example of it actually working. And you can see right here as well, we could have a reaction here after this data high is taken. Why? Because this was a super significant liquidity pool, right? Now, news in general, what I want you guys to understand is that I don't really care about news too much, but if we do have a 10 a.m. news folder like this in AM session, I will wait for that news to hit first. Why? Because I like to use the data highs and lows. Whenever it is a news day, honestly, I see it as like an easier type of day because we have that data high and low. Also, when you're trading before news, for example, right here, you can even see oftentimes we will consolidate a bit before that news. So it is safer, in my opinion, to wait on the news to come out, see what it does, see how we manipulate, and then pretty much take your entry, right? Now, also, do I avoid trading news days? I do not. If there's a no news Monday, I'll still trade. I don't really care about that. I know some people, if there's a day like this, no news Monday, they'll say, oh, I won't trade, there's no news. But honestly, for me, in my opinion, if you know how to trade, you know how to trade. News doesn't really affect much at all, other than it just adds pretty much volatility to the market. But yeah, like I said before, this is about to be probably one of my quickest videos ever because of how simple this actually is. But yeah, let's actually take a look at another example right now. All right, so right now we're on January 9th, 2026. If we take a look here, January 9th, 2026, we actually have 10 a.m. news, as well as we have 8:30 a.m. news. We have USD red folder, so we could expect some volatility. If we take a look at the chart, 8:30 a.m. opened up, and we left this obvious wick here. So what I'll do, I'll mark up this high, mark up this low. We'll just keep this in mind. And also just keep in mind that data highs and lows, it's not like something to like just trade off of on its own. It's just a confluence. It's just something that you should definitely be aware of. Boom, swept out data low, right? Where could we now trade up to? Data high. Why? Because this is like an imbalance in the market pretty much. There's a lot of orders resting here above from this news that came out, right? And also when it's like an obvious wick like this, when it's an obvious type of data high, that's even better. But yeah, let's see what happens. Beautiful example right here. So we just had two perfect examples of the same exact thing playing out, and we'll see if now actually we have a bit of a reaction lower to the downside because we actually took out that data high. So let's see here. And once again, consolidating a bit here, but you can see how that data high getting swept is fueling price to the downside here. A lot of orders were taken out because above news highs and news lows, there's a lot of liquidity pretty much. And also there is also this 10 a.m. news. So let's actually keep skipping price until we get to that 10 a.m. news. Let's see how it reacts as well. Let's see here. All right, so also back here, I don't really care about these data highs or lows anymore. They already got swept, right? Don't really care about them. 10 a.m. though, let's take a look. 10 a.m. here opened up. We have data high right there, data low. How do we know it's a data high or low? Because Forex Factory tells us it's a red folder for USD news, and you can see that we actually left the obvious data high as well. Took out data low, right? Where are we trading up towards? Data high. Very, very simple concept here. Just wanted to go over this for the bootcamp. We won't hit it every single time, but actually looking at ES actually took out this data high. So if there's a SMT with data highs, same thing applies. SMT with data highs is very, very significant. Those orders were still swept out. So in this example, ES actually wicked out this high, meaning there was a SMT with the data high, and you can see the reaction we actually had after it, right? So yeah, overall, very, very simple concept. Also, just so that I cover everything here about news pretty much, bank holidays as well. Bank holidays, what can you expect? Here we have one right here. Bank holiday, ideally, if you're a beginner trader, just stay out of the markets, forward test maybe or paper trade it. But if you have backtested data on your strategy that says to you that you're still profitable trading bank holidays, then it's totally okay to trade it in my opinion. But just expect way slower price action. For some people's strategies, they don't execute their strategies as well on bank holidays because there will be less volatility. But for me personally, honestly, bank holidays don't really affect too much other than the volume. So sometimes I'll stay out of the market if I see we're very, very low volume, if we're kind of just chopping around. But yeah, for beginner traders, just stay away from bank holidays. These are the gray folder news events. And yeah, pretty much also the yellow folders, I don't really care about. Orange folders, I treat them the same way as a red folder with the data highs and lows. Also, almost forgot, FOMC statement. If there's FOMC statement in PM session, that is a pretty significant news event that can oftentimes impact the AM session. So let me actually see, yeah, here, right here. FOMC statement at 2 p.m. So if there is FOMC statement at 2 p.m., you can also expect the AM session to be a bit slower, a bit more choppy, because this is such a significant news event. Does that affect my trading? No, it honestly does not, because if you know how to trade, you know how to trade, and the news doesn't really affect stuff. The low volume doesn't really affect stuff. But yeah, just want you to be aware of that. FOMC statement can make price action in AM session a bit slower and lower volume. But yeah, that's only for FOMC statement, not FOMC minutes. Let's see, is there FOMC minutes? No, there's not. But yeah, I just want you guys to be aware of that as well. But yeah, that's really it for this video. Also, comment below which videos you actually want in the bootcamp, because I'm almost finished with the bootcamp, but I am thinking of adding in some more things in here. Just want to make sure I literally cover everything that I can. So comment below any topics that you guys are struggling with, anything like that. So yeah, drop that in the comments. Also, if you watched all the way until the end, drop a W in the comments as well. Subscribe for more. Like the video, helps the channel grow. Love you all. Peace out.